Okay, I think we finally got it. All right, I think I've got it. Hopefully. Well, we'll see. Okay, hi. I have been trying to figure out dealing with some video stuff, video crash stuff, but it's a good day. It's okay. We're late, but it's a good day. I hope everybody's been well. I hope everybody's staying happy and healthy. And it's Tuesday, and I'm here in the studio, and I've got a few changes going on in the studio here. Got some different setup, and I've got um, some new technology. And in addition to all that, I've got some exciting news. So, just give me a sec. Okay, just checking my setup there. All right, so yeah, we're trying out something different in the studio too. Lori has let me use her standing desk for that. We're trying that out, and so we'll see how that goes. And in the meantime, she's trying not doing the standing desk. So we'll see how that goes. If she feels she needs the standing desk back, well, that's you know, yeah, we got to put it back. But if I find I'm comfortable with the standing desk, then we got to look into, setting up something like that in here. So in the screen right now, I have today's page that I posted, which is Lord Otter's Bother. And Lord, I hope you can hear me okay. Lord Otter's Bother is a page suggested by Chris K. Chris Calais, our friend. And so I did this in ballpoint pen on a 11 by 17 page. So there's the camera, so you can see the 11 by 17 page. Trying to get my camera to wake up. Come on. Does that help focus it? I've been finding that the lens is fuzzy. Yeah, well, there we go, of course. So the whole deal with the pages is that I've got a couple that I've done already this week. The first one was in colored pencil, and it was a drawing for the first page that I posted yesterday. And then today's is the ballpoint pen one, and tomorrow's is the one in marker. So there's 3 in a row, and it's just trying to shake it up as I go along. So a little bit of that happening. So there we go. So we can switch cameras now. So here's the other setup I have here in the studio, and I'm just working on its focus, really. It's being fussy. Yeah. Okay, so here's a shot. So this is the original art page that I did this on, and the page before that is the blue pencil, the colored color erase pencils that I picked up, mechanical pencil set. And this is the page that I've drawn based on a suggestion on Friday from Linda during her birthday. So once again, happy birthday, Linda. And this will be posting tomorrow. So I thought we'd do another one-page story today. Checking something. But in the meantime, so last year we put out 2 books. And the 2 books that you can see here on the screen is One Page Story Extravaganza, Volume 1, and Alphabet Book. And so One Page Extravaganza, Volume 1, this is the book that's made from suggestions. So it's got, when you open it up, there's a how to read this, right? And it just shows you that the book is in a landscape format as opposed to horizontal. And then as the suggestions would come from people, an aspiring paperback writer like the song, I would do a 1-page story. in whatever particular medium. So for those of you that are new, this is what I've done 700, over 700 of these in the last 2 years. So, and so all of these pages are collected in this volume, the first selection of them. And then the second book we did, Alphabet Book. Alphabet Book is an alphabetary. And so what that means is each page starts with a letter of the alphabet. And unfortunately, this one, I was reading with some kids and they yanked it and pulled it right off its axis. So anyhow, this book is each page is a different letter and a different application style. And it's not necessarily like the sequential format that I usually work in. It's just whatever I feel like in that day. There is sequential aspects to things. Like there are some pages that have little applications, but for the most part, it's just visual exploration. Now, so those are the two books we put out last year, and this is your sneak peek moment because this just came in the mail. So yeah, and we've also done this thing too, where we've tried to keep the sides of the books uniform, which is kind of fun. So that when they're on a shelf, they all sort of go together. But this just came in the mail today, which I'm really excited about, and it's volume 2. So it's everything's the same size, everything's the same layout, the same format, and so all the books that we do are all the same size, and yeah, I'm really pleased, and so this crazy cover. I do the covers for these ones on their sides so that optimally, like when you flip it over, there's an upright back, but when you look at it from the front, you'll look at the logo and the name, and then you realize, oh, that image is on its side. So the person turns it to the side, and then if they realize, oh, the whole thing's laid out this way. Oh, I see what they did. So the new one is the same. So there's the silly. So this one's all different versions of me working in the studio, and this one is a cartoon me slipping on a banana peel and falling. Well, I fall into the top of the first panel, and then it just doesn't get any better from there. So just silly fun. But this is the first chance I get to show anybody this because it literally just arrived. So we're very excited, and thank you as always to my wife Laurie and to Tristan Damone, who is our graphic designer, who's helped me put together all the books that we've been doing through RP Press. This is now our 77th book, so that RP has put out. So I'm pretty excited. But the 3 hardcover ones are the only ones that are available online and internationally. So yeah, and compared to what I was doing before, I'm quite pleased with showcasing these ones. So it's the same thing at the front of the book. There's the layout, and then we just start getting into a whole bunch of new pages that were not included in volume 1. So there we go. That's I'm really excited about this, and I'm really pleased and appreciative to have the opportunity to do something like this. So yeah, I'm happy as can be, and I really appreciate when people send in the one-page story suggestions. Whether it's a couple of lines of suggestion, just a couple sentences, or 3 words, or a line of dialogue, or crazy, disconnected notion that that might seem a little tangential for a moment, but what about something like this? Like a submarine, a submarine, it's got covered in cheese. The whole thing's covered in cheese, and yeah. So there's all kinds of different ways that people have been sending suggestions. The other thing is, I have started a new suggestion book, and so I'll be writing all of the new suggestions as they come into here, because I finished off the old suggestion book, which is the little gold one that flips over. So all the new suggestions that are coming in are going in here, as well as where I plot out the ongoing books that I've been working on. I just posted a 15-page story on Instagram, Facebook, and Patreon, that little sci-fi story. So that's where I plotted all that out in this book. And then, as well as that, I'm finishing off this, which is a horror story. So this is one of the original pages from that, and about haunted. It's called a haunted village, and so I'm in the process of doing that. But this is the original pencils for that book. Let me see. I'll show you. So here's those original pencils for anybody that might not have seen those when I posted them, when I'd started this project. So I'm just finishing off the pages for this. And the third thing that we're finishing off the last few pages in is Stream of Conceitedness. And the intention for Stream of Conceitedness is for it to be out by the end of the year. So the idea is to just keep plugging away and having some fun. And so this has got this is chock-a-block with all new one-page stories in it that haven't been collected before. There's no repeats, and I'm really pleased. I honestly, there's a part of me that thinks that it's a strange thing. I'm really happy with. See, here's some of the zine stories that we did, and I've collected those in here as well. I'm really happy with how this came together. And so this is the cover. This is one of the things that I've done here as well. This is the cover for the first book, which is also a story in its own right, as a one-page story. The suggestion was show your process for making a one-page story. So that page, without the sans text, without the text, is what was used for the cover of One Page Volume 1. And so yeah, it's I feel like as I track through the pages, I think for the first time in my journey of making the pictures, I feel like this is the first time where I really do feel comfortable about where I'm at, and where that I fit. So like I'm in a good place of growth, and then I'm really comfortable with how I do things and what I do. So it's kind of a nice feeling. But yeah, anyways, I'm quite chuffed. It took forever to get on here because the video card needed to be updated on my computer, and so that was new. It's because I let the computer do updates the other night, and when that happens, then it offsets other things on your system. And when I let it do that last night, I didn't think it would be such a nuisance, but there you go. So I finally figured out how to fix that. So yeah, the big 2 means number 2. Guess what the next one's going to be. So yeah, so I'm pretty happy. I think that all is said and done, it's a nice feeling for whenever a new project comes out. We shouldn't necessarily be motivated by these goals, these ambitious goals, as pure objective. Now that works for some people, that to have something, a goalpost to try to get to. But it can also be fairly off-putting and daunting to others because they've set themselves up with this objective, and then it becomes a case of that now sits on you, has to be done by this, has to be done by this. It's one thing when you're working for a client and you're illustrating something for them, and then you've got, whatever expectation is there for the completion of that project, and how the readiness of it at said completion. So because there's other people that might be involved in the process and so forth. But that's one thing. It's another thing to put that on yourself. Uh, and if you know yourself to what extent that's a positive or a negative, then utilize that. But if you know that it's just going to conflate issues, it's just going to make you feel too pressured. And then what if it's not good enough? And I got to redo this page and go back and redo that. And now I'm falling behind. And I'm never going to make this thing. And yeah, there's none of that is necessary. Um, it's have fun. It's all meant to be fun, And at the end of the day, things will come out when they come out, you know. And if you're not working according to someone else's schedule, and if you're not working towards obligation, then things will happen as they do, and there's a more fulfilling outcome for you in that way, because you've once it comes out, you're like, I can't believe we're here, and no matter how many times you work on a project, no matter how many different things you do and stories you tell, it still feels good when you finish something. There's that little, maybe it's the dopamine hit in your body, in your brain, or maybe it's just a sense of, okay, all right, that a resolution. You're resolved. You've got a sense that I have set the thing. I actually got to having done the thing. On we go to the next thing. And over time, if you've set those similar goals and those similar ambitions, like in my case, a one-page story a day, as they come along, the pressure lessens over time, because when you fall into a systemic approach to how you do things, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. If everything that you're producing looks the same, that can be challenging. But if your routine is the same, and the recurrence of your routine and the repetition in and of that sort of lets you're set up, you're ready to go, and away I merrily jaunt along and get some work done. Those things help, and those things help to further that sense of those little elations, those little completions, where I got it penciled out, and I feel pretty good with these pencils. Okay, well, now I got to ink it, and some people don't like inking. I prefer to not have to trace over my own drawings and ink them. So it's, in my instance, I either just draw straight on in the ink, which is something I had to develop to be able to do, and it was largely because of not want just becoming really bored really easily and not wanting to have to trace over my own drawings. So, but you feel, that little joy. I've penciled it, I've inked it, or I've applied color to it. I've put words on it, and any of those things, in any of the different ways that you use to do these different tasks, because I switch it up all the time. Like in the last 3 days, I've gone from pencil to pen to marker, and I'm not sure what I'll start doing today's page at, but I like to keep it loose and to jump from whatever to whatever, largely because it just makes me feel like I'm continuing on a really consistent, regular basis to challenge myself, and and reinvest myself into, oh yeah, you know what, I like watercolor, I should have done a watercolor thing, or something along those lines. So that helps to motivate me and help me to keep going. But even though you do X amount of things, something like when a new book comes out, it feels very, if there's a, I guess it's cathartic in some way. Like you get something back from that, that okay, I've I feel that I've accomplished something that I set out for myself, and on to the next thing. So, but yeah, this is and you'll notice things, by the way, when you release a project that because these pages are in these two books are from year one, and in doing this stream, we're on year three. So so I'm looking back on some of these and going, oh yeah, why don't I work like this right now? Why don't I reinvestigate this visual approach or this medium a little bit more, because maybe I've strayed from that, or apply this mixed medium approach in whatever the next thing I'm doing. And uh, and then there's other things that you'll recognize, like for those that spend a moment, they'll find embedded behind the cartoon images of me on this cover is a photo montage of some rather ridiculous things. But what these rather ridiculous things are things that I just find funny, and so I've got them in there, embedded in the back, just as I'm tossing and turning and rolling through this environment. Those things are there as sort of these are the things that I enjoy. These are things that make me laugh and roll around on the floor, even though this isn't quite the roll around on the floor example. I gotta figure out the position of my one monitor still, but that's okay. So yeah, so where I'm in the studio, my desk is still the same where it was. I've reversed where the monitors were, and the digital drawing monitor and my drawing board are flip flopped, and so that I could utilize this standing desk in the studio space. And what it allows me is to actually find some comfort in not always. The problem with being tall is that I'm often hunched over things, and having this opportunity to stand there and to draw digitally on my feet is really nominal to me. I'm quite taken by that. The chance to explore that. So it might help me with long spending X amount of time digitally drawing, because I don't feel comfortable in the seating position doing that, because it feels like it's hunched over. So yeah, so there's the big surprise for today is that volume 2 has come in the mail, and so we're going to start promoting it on Amazon, on my Amazon page. So we're really appreciative of all of the reviews that came in for volume 1, just and as well for Alphabet Book, that just touched my heart, and I can't express how much I appreciate that. And if people are interested in the one-page stuff that I do, please feel free to check out the new one. But or just check them out online, whatever. But it's nice. It's nice to be able to collect some more of those pages. And just for interest's sake, I've I've already got um, 2/3 of volume 3 collected already as well, so that we can try to keep a regular release period for the projects. And with the one-page stories, I'm staying a day ahead. Is a new um, momentum for me for this year, is to stay one day ahead, so that the page that I'm doing today, I will put on available online on Thursday, because it's Tuesday today. And then tomorrow, I'll be showcasing this page, which is the page that I did for Linda, who's the moderator here on my stream. So for her birthday. So yeah, so I'm going to try to stay a day ahead of the one-page stories for completing those, so that if anything comes up, because I've a reduced immune system, I get colds and I get laid up. So objectively, I shouldn't miss a day for posting, because I'm going to be a day in advance. So that's the theory. Also, I hope that the new cameras, which I'm really happy with, and the new microphone is going to improve things for people enjoying hanging out and talking about art. So, you know, everything changes. Things are moving along. So, yeah. So just for fun, just for discuss. So volume one, I've shown a few times on the stream, where I've talked about each page and the different medium that I use for them. And so this is very mixed medium, a whole bunch of different things. This one's graphite. This is just pencil on paper, and then digitally, everything's digitally finished. The text is always put in digitally. This is pencil and pen, and there are little white digital rabbits that are secreted into most of the panels. This is drawn in marker. So when I pen it and say pen, I mean ballpoint pen. And when I say marker, it might be like a Fudenosuke marker, or it might be like these types of markers, which is, a water-based dual tip artist loft, or one of these neat new Staedtler brush tip markers that I've discovered recently. So yeah, I'll try to differentiate. But so it's always trying. There's a little bit of zipatone in this one too. You can see it better in the original art. So along the side here, I show what the finished art was before the digital finishes. So you can see how the color adds to the drawings, or you can see the zipatone in the page where it blends in nicely in the finished. And so this has, that's pencil crayon, that's acrylic. The fish are painted acrylic, and then the two fellas and the one holding his fish, those are drawn in pencil crayon. Here's one that's drawn in a color erase purple marker, mauve, I guess. And the suggestion for this one was challenging. Jockeying on a horse, action to the left, head light brown, jockey leaning on the neck. Nice little suggestion there. So how do you, in a Western world where we read from left to right, how do you have the horse and the action going to the left for that to make any sense whatsoever? And my solution for that was to turn the jockey around, and so that you recognize that he's contrarian to your expectation. This is color erase pencil, painted hamburger, and paint and ink for the fellow holding the hamburger up. So there's a whole bunch of different approaches to this. And the hamburger was painted actually on a takeout bag from getting hamburgers. So that's meta. This is a bunch of mixed media stuff with an ink, and so there's blue painter's tape in those drawings, and this is white on cardstock. So this is drawing, you're looking at things as volume and not as line, so that you're trying to represent the raised surfaces, and so you put this volume down to represent the brightness on the tip of the nose, whereas you leave it out to do the cast shadow underneath the nose. So that's how that's approached. This is drawn in a water-based marker pen there, and the finish is done digitally. So there's lots of elements. So I've gone through this before with the first book, and you can find those online. So with the new one, I started adding some new techniques to things. Like this is pencil crayon, and what's called a Fudenosuke pen, which is a really beautiful pen for inking with. And this page is white pencil and a blue pencil on a blue cardstock. And so the black was added and the white bordering largely was added digitally, to the composition, just to gear it up a little bit. But this was a lot of fun to do. Oopsie daisy. So I'm sorry. So you can see the original art on the side as it, the representations of that. And then oopsie daisy here, the suggestion is a typo that changes the course of history. So, watch out for bees. And they meant bombs. So, but this typewriter is drawn with a jelly roll pen and a white pencil crayon, and then some brushed on white ink as well. And so you can get fantastic effects by leaning into different materials. Like this is a blue ballpoint pen, so the stars and things here are added digitally after the fact to have the two of them doing the dancing in the streets video moment on top of a burrito. So the suggestion is Rasputin, David Bowie, and Joan Crawford share a breakfast burrito. In heaven, I would take. This is Focal Point Part 1. I have never finished Part 2. I laid it all out. I just didn't go back to it. Focal Point Part 1 is a magic card that attacks anything with a target on it. And so there's a lot of jokes about him called the bullseye store that he works at instead of saying target. And he's smashing through it with his crazy possessed car. I included in this volume 2, some more of the 500 years from now stories. We had, I think, 3 or 4 in the first volume, and then now there's a number more in the second with my scientist character, Dr. Corbell Johansson. Just shows up in things, and he's crazy, and he shouts "science" all the time. And so in this one, he's resurrecting Elvis for the holidays, and so they can go trick-or-treating, which is, of course, why it ends with him shouting "Merry Christmas, everybody," because, I'm confused. This is Kangaroo, Diamond, and Airplane. That's what, the suggestions were for this story. So it's about the Australian rumor, a kangaroo-themed superhero for Australia, who is on an airplane stopping somebody stealing a diamond that's in the shape of a pyramid. So silly. Rachmaninoff is initially drawn in red pencil with Fudenosuke pen there. This is also the same Fudenosuke pen, so you can get all kinds of different textures out of those brushes. So I highly recommend them. They're by Tombow, the same people that make these nice tall pens with the dual tip, the brush tip and the marker tip. Well, they're inking pens, the Fudenosuke line, phenomenal. This is red ink and a blue ballpoint pen about a crazy rabbit. So that is very hyperactive, and this was done for a good friend Tristan, who helps me put together the books. This suggestion is Spy versus Spy, but with sloths, and this is done mixed media on a craft paper. Whereas scratch and sniff denominations of currency. So if you get this and you scratch these areas, you're gonna smell something. So this is a silly space story about the different things that we can use for money in the future. Here's another 500 years from now. This one is about our good friend Joshua Kemble, who went to a convention and they accidentally called him Kremble. And so he was having a time period there that he was really enjoying playing the game Risk. And so the hypothesis in this world is that in this universe, this is the risk game that he's playing, and he's seen as their great leader and benefactor. And they all live in the world of Kremlin and talk about the history of when he first sat down and conquered the other nations. So it's just silly, but it's fun. Here's a fun page drawn with marker and using zipatone and all kinds of different effects about disagreements. You know, this is a mixed media on cardstock, like little playing cards. I have a bunch of blank playing cards, and so I drew all these panels on those and then scanned them all together, and so we have a uniform size story. But who's got two thumbs in a thumbless world? This guy. Anyways, it's a lot of drawing for a really silly joke. Speaking of silly jokes, I'll leave it there if people can read the page. If not, I'll read it. You can pretend all you like, but you know you've done it once. Just laugh. And so this is white pencil, a white Jelly Roll pen, and I thought actually it might only be a white Jelly Roll pen and a black drawing pen. So like half marker, half pen. Mosh pit ropers. This is the suggestion is mosh pit jump ropers. I'm sorry. The suggestion is the three words: mosh pit, jump, and ropers. So, because how my brain works, I immediately thought of Mr. Roper from Three's Company. This is another one of the sloth pages. This is Slothtastic Park. It's Jurassic Park, but with sloths. So, this is Beaver, Volkswagen, and The Hobbit are the suggestions for this one. So I have a Volkswagen being driven by a beaver, picking up the Hobbit to have him get to Mount Doom faster. So if you're a Tolkien fan, that's for you. And this page is the first time that I have done a jam, a collaborative page with another artist, and in one of my collections. And so this is the top half is me drawing Dr. Corbell Johansson investigating alternate universes, and the bottom half is the fantastic and brilliant writer, illustrator, and animator Jim Luan, who's got him falling into his universe with all kinds of Jim's different characters from all his different projects. And Jim, Lujan, please go check out his work. I really, really love it. And I got to do some voices in his last film. That was fun. If you aren't a macho dude, you'll want to look away for a moment. And so this is all about macho dudes. There's your man card. And so this is done on a gray cardstock with pencil, a Jelly Roll pen, and that's it. So here's a mixed media page. It's called Great Locomotive Scampers in History, and it's about how the trains used to have to outrun giant beetles in the desert, as they would. And here, this is about a bellhop in a hotel trying to get whoever the owner of license 16D to come up to the front desk so they can go and turn the lights off in their car. And he's just completely swarmed in ridiculous people in the hotel. Space people, bug people. This is Order versus Chaos, and it's just a bit of a superhero looking punch up between characters. And so you can see how the original art leaves this character as a void, and then it's filled in with a nice, really bright value just to give it a little more oomph, right? That's oomph. There's the suggestion for this one is pets have taken to the streets. I'm sorry. So yeah, they're holding up signs. I can walk myself. Don't tie me down. Nonsense. And then here's a conspiracy. This is the tack border conspiracies. So the original art doesn't have all of this, any of this text on it. That was all put in digitally. Even the little drawings and handwriting on that too. Another 500 year later page. This one's in 500 years, scientists will discover the gnome genome. And it's Dr. Corbell Johansson. So here's a page that's done on a jelly plated paper. And so I'm not very good at it, but what did turn out in this one was neighbors in the sky. So the rest of it I had to come up with along the way. So, but I really find it comfortable to draw in white on a dark surface. So, and all the modeling and splotching and stuff that you get, especially with your unsuccessful transfers in the jelly roll plating process, it's where you transfer an existing black and white, largely contrasted image in a magazine or something, and you can put acrylic paint onto this gelatin plate, right? Rectangular, circular shape, whatnot. You cover it in acrylic, you lay this magazine page over, you rub it for a moment, and when you peel that back, all of the high contrast value, the black or dark blue, whatever it is, will have imprinted itself onto the plate, and the rest of it is the acrylic is withdrawn off with the lighter value. So so you can get images transfers. In this case, the only thing I think that worked was neighbors in the sky from an article that I'd read. This is pencil, pen, white ink. Yeah, just having fun, drawing some animals. And I'm trying to escape a volcanic eruption. Here's another jelly plated surface. You can see some of these textures around the letters. So I scanned the yellow page with the jelly plated surface on it, and then I took this line art, this page drawn with the color erase pencil, and laid that over top. So there's another jelly plate paper surface where I've drawn all these kids on a forest and added in more forest elements to make it a little more clear what it was. And this, again, another fun one to do. So you can see, again, I'm trying to show what the original work looks like and the different aspects of it. Here's a couple different colors. This is a story about, this is a real life thing where I went for a tour of a submarine that is on the land here in southwestern Ontario. I think it's Port Franks. And because of my height, I couldn't stand up in the entire submarine. So I had an hour and a half tour of ducking over. It was fun though. This is black and gray markers. And this is the suggestion was working on it, and it's about a lady who's trying to capture one of these cute little bears to take home there. Here's another, this is some jelly plated images on craft paper. And I think the only part that turned out in the whole thing was this person's face and hands. Again, I'm not very good at it, but I kind of like not being very good at it because it allows me to have these crazy modified surfaces to work on top of, and I really like working that way. So here's a story about an angry teddy that felt abandoned, so it went on a revenge path, and there's the simple line art. This is one of the flip zines that I did. This one's called Hey You. It's mixed media on Snap and Drag paper. So it's where you put ink on a plastic sheet and you put water onto that, and then you smoosh it around a little bit, shaking it around, and then smack it on a blank piece of paper and drag it across quickly. It'll make these crazy varied imprints of value. And I'm using a green ink here, and then I just draw on top of that. So this is a page where I was, it's a simple pencil line art, but I'm using all kinds of digital coloring effects that I'm trying out. So here's another one of those zine pages. This one's done in mixed media, markers and pens. And here's another mixed media page drawn in paint pens. It's literally acrylic paint in a marker format, and that's on top of a random shape printed jelly roll surface. So this is on a light blue cardstock. This is colored pens, watercolor on that surface. And there's the cover of the old book, which is all mixed media stuff. This is pencil crayon here, and it's all finished off digitally, including all the digital cats that I continue to draw. This page is done in pastel, and the suggestion is crossing the border for cake. Dun dun dun. Top secret. Here's a mixed media page drawn in pens on a jelly plated surface. This is acrylic paint that I did this page in acrylic paint on a piece of paper. These are drawn, so as you can see in the original for the paint there, with the text, it's just a page of marker, a magazine page underneath it of just words, and so I let some of them peep through so now and then. So this is white pencil, and I'm drawing on each of these heads, each of these faces is drawn with a different technique. So we've got stippling, we've got cross hatch, we've got hatching with a pencil where you're just making these little divots. I've got contour line in there. I'm just trying different approaches to drawing faces, and that's sort of a challenge to myself. And the suggestion for this page was, there's no rest for the wicked, but there are cookies. Raccoon, frog, and dejected. So this is a fun one. Pen, white ink, and pencil on a gray cardstock. So this is another one of drawing in white on a really deep blue piece of cardstock. And so the luminosity of like the mid-tones that pops out of that is really lovely, because when you use a dark blue, it, as you apply lighter values on top of it, what you get is this beautiful range of blue. And yeah, it's a fun approach. Simple line art, but the digital coloring. So there's 2 of these in the first book, 1 page, and it's the Frankenstein suggestions. And this one, so I keep doing stories about Frankenstein, is always basically like a 12-year-old kid. The first one's where he starts in kindergarten. The second one is where he learns to get his license. So the age varies, but he's very simple. Despite being the Boris Karloff Frankenstein monster. And it always starts with him brushing his teeth. And it says, "Hello, my name is Stephen. I'm brushing my teeth. Today, my adopted parents will take me to the jamboree." So it's just nonsense. But I have fun doing nonsense. This is jelly roll pen and gray marker on a gray cardstock. So just some silly fun about how my mother keeps embarrassing me. More lights, please, is on. So what this is called is a brayer-off page. When you're doing jelly plating, you take the excess acrylic as you place it over the jelly plate, and you have an additional sheet of paper to the side that you roll that out on, and you get these wonderfully granulated textures as the brush roll leaves behind the residue from what you're doing on the plate. It's meant to be, it's not even necessarily byproduct. It's not meant to be something specific, but what it does is gives you these wonderful pieces of texture like you see here in behind the drawing. And so for me, I find that to be a fantastic type of surface to work on. And so this is just looks like pen and a yellow paint pen, I think. So here's a mixed media page on a tan colored cardstock, and there's so much paint and ink on this that you can't necessarily see the cardstock anymore. And this is about there's a bunny that lives on the moon, but they see everything through rose-colored glasses. They could have to live on the moon. This is a fun page that's drawn in a pencil, simple HB pencil, and then the finishes are all done digitally. Here's another page on, this is a paper that looks like tie-dye, and I bought a block of this at Walmart, and all kinds of different colors, and so I'm just drawing on it in white ink and a black marker, and then put it in there and do the digital finishes like those crazy stars. So there's some fun things that we can do when we utilize different tools together and see what comes from that. Here's another brayer off page. A brayer is what you roll the ink on for ink printing, or acrylic for jelly roll printing, so jelly plate printing. This is a watercolor, no, I think it's acrylic. This is an acrylic painting of Salvador Dali. The suggestion for this page is 3 words: Dali, toothbrush, and flying. So there he is, of course, flying with his magical toothbrush. This is on acrylic and done in acrylic on in a sketchbook of mine. And it's about the Cydonia complex, the face on Mars, from a suggestion for that. Just checking the time. Fascists! This is drawn in line art on a piece of paper, and then finished off digitally. So, but all the art is line art. The color is all digital. So here we go again with the drawings of these guys, and then I did a photo manipulative collage in the background in one of my sketchbooks, and then I drew these characters on a different piece of paper, and then figured out how to make them transparent, put them onto this surface, and then color them. So learning all the way, right? We got to keep learning. This is a couple of pencil crayons and a limited range that I made myself have to use. And from the suggestion of, I don't believe in lizard people. Dun dun dun. Birthday snack is about a kid throws a party, and it's from their dog's point of view. So this is fun. And again, this is the paper that's used underneath these drawings is brayer off paper that I've just drawn on top of. Here's another line art piece that's colored digitally, and a secret group that controls the rest of us. This is a traditional element drawn in marker, but the rest of this page is entirely drawn digitally. And I'm going to try to incorporate more digital work, I think, because I enjoy that as well. This is a page of mixed media, all kinds of different things for each of these panels. And it's one panel movie recaps. So like so it's me summing up movies in my own particular way. So The Man Who Fell to Earth is from the year 1976, and my suggestion about this film, my synopsis of it is, if you like David Bowie when he is weird, this film will suit you fine. Doesn't help a lot, I know. Do I really want to watch that? Who knows? The Shining is a man gets lost in a maze after his kid rides a bike all over a hotel's carpet. Which is true. That does happen. Here's a ink drawing of Godzilla in therapy. And then, of course, the color was added after. So this page is drawn with a dipping pen. So it's a nibs that you dip into ink, and then I draw a page. And I did this on like a nice Stonehenge paper. So you could get all kinds of nice little pieces of detail just because of the combination of those two things and how they work together. This is a brayer off page that's just drawn on top of it in pens and paint markers about a dairy farmer who provides milk to a skeleton horde to make them stronger. So this page is doodled in colored markers, and then I've taken the colored markers and I've applied more color to them. And this is fun. It's a fun one. Just all about doodling. The incremental hypothesis. The suggestion is somebody has to get increasingly large objects onto a city bus. And so this was a lot of fun to do. And this is pen and white pencil, I believe, and white Jelly Roll pen maybe as well. This is a lot of fun, and it's on a gray cardstock. So, so there you can see the original art there. It's pretty exact to the page. black line art for this page about penguins as astronauts. And this is entirely drawn in fine point marker for this page. And this page is just paint pens and a blue marker, or paint markers, a blue marker on a page that has brayer off of paint on it. So it's just rolled out random paint. This is a jelly roll print, and that didn't turn out very well at all, so I added all these elements over top of it. But I think there's a piece of building there and a piece of building there. But you can see the original art there. So you can see the guy showed up, the building showed up, but nothing else did. So I just drew over it. Here's a guy, blue line art for come on kids, sing along, and it's a superhero theme song opening. I'm missing stuff here. Hi, Linda. How you doing? Oh, you're not late. I was late. I didn't get here until almost 3. And hiya, Tim. Hiya, Susanna. How you doing? Anybody I'm missing? Yeah, I'm missing. See, I got to change the angle of this monitor. There we go. Okay, so this is mixed media, ink wash. This is a slap and drag thing again, and I've gone over it with white and with a black marker pen, and then added in some digital manipulation inside here as well. Here is a brayer off page that I've drawn on top of with colored paint markers. And one more. This is a brayer off of yellow ink on a page that I drew over top of with white ink and a red pen. And the suggestion is I'll know it when I see it. It's about female space astronauts out into the great unknown of outer space. So there's our new book that's just come in. So yeah, I'm happy, pleased as punch. So yeah, I hope people find that interesting. And yeah, we'll be making all kinds of announcements about where to pick it up and everything on my Patreon. No, I'm so sorry, on my Amazon page. And but I just thought I'd give you a little peek of what's in there, and we'll be letting other people know. So, but yeah, that's about it. Linda says hi to the balcony. Hi, yeah, hi to anybody else that's joined us that hasn't said hi. So I'll be finishing this to post tomorrow, and this is the just putting text to it digitally because I'm happy with where the drawings are. So I drew this in an orange pen and a yellow and an ochre marker. So this is for from a suggestion from Linda of Christopher Runciman teaches 16-year-olds to fly spaceships. And this is her suggestion from her birthday. So there you go, Linda. So yeah, so we've been having some fun. If you've got one-page story ideas, you know, that you want to see me do whatever with, and so you get a notion of what I'm talking about, like 3 words, or this suggestion is kids are kept safer now so they don't get hurt like we did when we were kids. You know, here's the time I toured a submarine, you know. So it's fairly open about the suggestions. I mean, if it's stuff that I, you know, find morally challenging or you know, awkward, I might not do those. I had somebody give me a really salacious one recently, and I'm like, I'm not drawing back. I think you need to talk to somebody. But yeah, so yeah, so we've got we're already well underway for this year for our one-page stories, and we've also got we've given people a little 15-page look at this sci-fi story we've been doing. So things are happening, folks. Yeah, and then so with the visual and audio improvements that we've tried to make, and now getting back on track, I hope people are, you know, going to join in and have some fun. So feel free to put a comment, a suggestion, you know, a challenge, in the comments for this video or on any of my social media posts like Instagram or Facebook or Patreon. And on Patreon, I show what the pages look like unencumbered by the text. So, you'll see this on my Patreon as opposed to only being able to see this with words all over it for its finish. And to show you an example, here's the page from Monday, and this is the Canada Land page. I'll just switch the camera. And so here is the finished page with the text all over it. And so you can see text, and then there's the original art with no text. And so I scanned those and I put those on the Instagram, Facebook, Patreon, and I use them as our title cards here on the stream. So, okay. And this says congratulations on your new book, and Susanna says that's good news. Thanks very much, gang. I appreciate that. Yeah, and we've managed to keep the books all the same price, so it's kind of a nice feeling to have everything be uniform. It's challenging to get all this the same size, sort of relatively same size type on the page and on the side of the books, and the books are the same thickness and same amount of pages, and yeah. So yeah, it's good feelings. So anyhow, that's it for me today. I'll get this thing posted for tomorrow morning, and I'll find another one-page suggestion. And I say I'll find one because I don't know where I have the book right now. I have to write all the suggestions in the new book, and I got a book that's bigger and thicker so that I don't lose it. Don't easily misplace it someplace in my studio here, so that I don't know how to find it. Okay, so there we go. So there's a quick little look at the new book and some of the things that are in there. So if you see a page that you yourself suggested, awesome, that's great. I love it. Hopefully it's something somewhat like you were envisioning when you gave this suggestion. Maybe not. I don't think that when I was suggested mosh pit jump ropers, I think somebody just was thinking I was just going to do something at about a punk show with a big mosh pit, people skipping in there or something. I don't know. And then I end up doing a page about 100 different clones of Mr. Roper from Three's Company. So who knows what you're going to get. Either way, it's fun. Okay, so that's it for me. I'm going to sign off and say thank you to everybody, and I appreciate all the support and involvement from people. So don't never feel shy about any ideas that you might have or any random thoughts. And what do you think of this? Is this stupid? There's no such thing as stupid. There's no such thing as not a good idea. It's what we do with those that gives them a little more life for ourselves. But there's no such thing as a bad idea. That's why I enjoy doing the pages that have just 3 words. What do you do with 3 random words? You have fun. And you end up telling stories about a kangaroo space superhero foiling a diamond heist on an airplane. There you go. Okay, gang, that's it for me. I'll be back tomorrow at 2 o'clock, 2 p.m. EST. I hope you come out and hang out. And if anybody has any questions or any of the stuff they want to put on any of the comments or anything like that for this or any social media posts, please feel free to do so. And if you don't feel comfortable with doing that, you want to just DM me one, direct message me one, you're more than welcome to do so. Okay. Thanks, gang. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now. Go draw something.